Assalamualaikum, a very good afternoon and salam sejahtera. Welcome to the fourth, maybe the fifth session of our Research Masterclass Series. My name is Puan Zuraimi Zakaria. I'm the coordinator for Research Project, EDU 656, which is a core course for all Faculty of Education undergraduate students. So with us, we have Dr. Tutiaini Abdul Wahid, who will be sharing her wisdom and insights in light of mixed methods research design. So I'm thrilled and honored and delighted that Dr. Tuti has been more than willing, being pressured by me, of course, to carry out this particular session. And we have to have this in the afternoon because we need to get this done by June, so that everybody can focus on writing and submitting in July. So I'm off your hair in July. So without further ado, let me just invite Dr. Tuti to begin the session. We will have a break in between. So the session will be roughly about 1 hour and a half. So we'll have 5 minutes break after 40 minutes ish. And of course, we're going to have Q&A session at the end. But feel free to lontarkan soalan or ask questions. Turn on your mic and ask your questions verbally at any point of time during the talk. Don't feel bad to interject. Such is the nature of our online webinar. And also you can type down your questions in the chat. I have invited Dr. Tuti, but I'm still talking. Tengoklah tu. Okay, anyway. So without further ado, the floor is yours, Dr. Tuti. Thank you so much. Please enlighten us with your wisdom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Puan Zuraimi, for that introduction. Okay, I really hope that everybody in a good mood, even though dah ada mood raya, but we still need to finish this particular things because you need to submit your AE by the end of July, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you, Puan Zuraimi, even though it's a bit pressure for me, sebab nak kena juga accept invitation tu. Tapi I dah demand something from Puan Zuraimi. No worries. Nanti I akan tuntut benda tu. Okay, but anyway, for our today's topic, okay, we'll cover about mixed method research design. Okay, even though, let me present my slide, yeah. Okay, can you see my slide on the presentation mode?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so, when we discuss about mixed method research design, today's topic, ada something interrupt. Bergerak. Okay, but anyway, when we actually discuss about mixed method research design, we were actually talking about two major methods in our design, in our research design, okay, which is quantitative and also qualitative. But for today's sharing session, I will also cover about the research design itself, which is even though you are not doing mixed method research design, but perhaps you can actually take some information and also strategize how you want to write down your research design part in your chapter 3, okay, even though you are not doing mixed method, because I will cover the models for research design so that you know how you want to write down the paragraph for your research design in your subtopic in chapter 3. Okay, so now let's begin. Okay, this is me. I believe there's many of you yang pernah belajar dengan I. So my name is Tutiaini as introduced by Puan Zuraimi, but you can call me Sensei. Okay, my students semua panggil I Sensei. So yang belum belajar dengan I tu boleh panggil Sensei lah. Even Tuan Zakaria here is our senior students kat sini pun panggil saya Sensei. Okay, but anyway. This will be our table of contents. Okay, first of all, we will go through the introduction.
Tuti, if I may interrupt, please just explain a bit about yourself, your academic background.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let us get to know our speaker.
Alah, tak naklah malu lah.
Alah, tak payah malu-malu sangat lah, Kedah.
Malu.
Academic background. Cak Mohok banyak bawah tu, macam apa konteksnya tu, cerita sikit.
Itulah saja, just apa tu, show the slide, baca sendiri yang macam tu. Okay, but anyway. This is a bit about myself lah, yeah. Actually, my area is actually in curriculum and instruction. So it's more on, my PhD is actually in curriculum and instruction, but I'm doing my master's in education administration. And my bachelor degree is actually in biology with education. So more or less the education is it's in the blood lah maksudnya kan. And I'm actually teaching at school previously for about 14 years, okay, as a teachers at various institutions before I joined in UiTM lah, Faculty of Education. So approximately 14 years too, I've been servicing dekat mana ya? MRSM, kita ada 4 MRSM that previously I've serviced with, and then I transfer to KPM, a few schools, and also I've been work also dekat private schools and also international schools, developing their curriculum actually. So in terms of research, perhaps my experiences tu adalah bolehlah sharing dengan you all, because my focus of research is in mixed methodology. So I'm doing my PhD using this particular design, okay, which is mixed methodology complex, because we will have a few types of mixed methodology after this that I will explain to you later. Okay, so I think it's adequate with about myself, because today is not about me. Boleh, Mas Raimi? I move on. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so this will be our table of contents. So more or less in 1.5 hours, kita akan focus on these particular topics. Now, first of all, I will briefly discuss with you what is mixed methodology design, okay? Because sometimes we're confused with multi-method design. Because in the methodological choice, we have a few types of methodological choice. First is mono method, quali, mono method, quanti, mixed method design, multi-method. Okay, so we have a few types of that we will discuss today. So I will actually introduce briefly what is actually mixed method design, and then we'll go further to the research process. Okay, no. The explanation kat bawah tu salah tu. I lupa nak letakkan the brief explanations in that. Okay, so research process here, we'll take a look about when you should use mixed method. In what condition you actually eligible to use mixed method. Okay, ataupun hanya nak tambah-tambah sahaja untuk menyedapkan rasa. So kita kena tengok, okay, when we want to use the mixed method research, and is it suitable untuk kita punya research and also research question, right? Okay, and then kita move kepada research design. Okay, so I think this is the most important part, because in designing a research, you need a certain systematic models for you to refer to. Okay, usually based on my experiences, many of us are actually explain the research design without refer to any research design model. So today is the time for you to get know with the models and how you want to actually explain you punya research design in your write-up. Okay, and last but not least, we go to conclusion lah, the take-home message for all of you. Okay, now first of all, let us take a look at the videos. But I'm not sure you can hear the sounds or not, because macam mana kita nak share video ya untuk dengar sounds tu? Sekejap, I try to play ya. Okay, let me share a computer audio. And then I try to play this video.
Caleb. Sound works just fine.
Oh, sorry, it was fine, yeah?
Okay,
cool. So let's watch this video first.
Caleb, cool it. Okay, everyone, I need you to get your papers out from yesterday. Those need to be on your desk. Caleb, if you do not have yours out, that will be a 0 for this assignment. Caleb, I am not going to play these games with you today. Pick up the paper or go to the office. Pick it up. Caleb, I don't know what your problem is, but you will not be disruptive in my class. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What y'all looking at?
That's it. To the office. Out.
Okay, so based on the videos, what can you see from the videos? Anyone? Anyone? Just unmute your mic and just say it out loud. Or you can put in chat box. Ay, tidur ke? Pukul 2 takkan tidur.
Lemah semua orang.
Betul lah
Maybe
tu.
you can type in the chat. What do you
You can
see?
type in the chat box. What can you see from the video?
Ourselves acting out.
Anyone?
The student seems to be like having an attitude problem.
Okay, cool. May I know your name? Siapa yang cakap tadi? Aina eh?
Betul lah.
Okay, Aina, 1 star for you. All right, anyone else?
Atira in the chat says root student.
Root students, good. Okay, thank you, Atira. 1 star for you. Anyone else?
Disrespect. students' disrespect towards the
Oh.
teacher.
Okay, cool. One star for you, Shamila. Okay. Last one, perhaps. Dah, last one tu senyap dah. Malaikat lalu. Okay, but anyway. Yeah. Now, what is actually your friends are saying, kan? Disruptive behavior lah, disrespect lah, kan? What is that actually? What types of information actually that your friends just mentioned earlier? Is it meaningful? Or does it less meaningful? Or what types of data that you can see from the statement that have been mentioned by your friends earlier? Nah, tadi Syamilah cakap disrespect teachers. What types of data is that? Kita ada berapa jenis jenis data? Anyone? How many types of data we have in research?
You have to make it into a multiple choice questions code. RAM is slow in the afternoon, Dr. Tuti.
RAM is low. Pekerjaan
Okay, so
tak
someone
pergi
just
tiada measure.
responded 2 types, according to
Two
Florence Field.
types. Okay, so yes, what are the two types of the data? If you can elaborate the answer. Saya tak dapat tengok lah chatbot tu macam mana. Tu complicated betul Webex ni sekarang.
It's at the bottom on your right side, the one like dialogue apa? Emoji.
Oh, ya ke? Sekejap ya. Oh, okay. Florence said quantitative and qualitative. Okay, very good. 1 star for you. Now, the one that mentioned by your friends tadi, kan? Students disrespect and whatnot. Quantitative ke qualitative data?
Qualitative.
Qualitative data. Why is it qualitative data?
Because it's an observation.
It's an observation, and it doesn't have anything. Yeah, perhaps dia apa? Dia kata macam dia menggambarkan some kind of behavior, right? Okay, cool. 1 star for you. How about the quantitative data? Can we get any quantitative data in this classroom?
The number of students within the classroom.
Very good. The number of the students. All right, cool. 1 star for you. Anyone else? Ada lagi tak quantity data yang kita boleh capture in this video? Selain daripada the numbers of the student. Betul lah tu, RAM dia agak slow sikit petang-petang ni kan. Okay, but I guess for examples, another quantitative data that you can capture is how many times the teachers remind the students to behave in the classroom. Kan, tadi dia keep reminding the students, please, 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 right? So that will be also can be quantified into quantitative data. Okay, now, my next question will be, what is the major differences between quantitative data and qualitative data? Anyone?
Qualitative is based on observation, whereas quantitative is very much numerical.
Okay, good. Tan Zakaria, 1 star for you. Okay, so means kalau quantitative data, they mesti deals with the numerical data. Okay,
Yes.
like our friend said earlier, ada berapa orang dalam kelas. So that one will be the numerical data. Okay, but the statements such as not respected the teachers, that one will be the qualitative data. Okay, now my next question will be, can we actually combine the quantitative and qualitative data in these videos and focus in our research? Can we?
Yes.
Yes, of course. We can combine the quantitative data and also qualitative data, okay, to come up with the results. Okay. Sorry, ada yang nak bertanya soalan ke? Tak ada Okay. Alright, cool. Alright, thank you for the cooperations based on the videos. Now, let us take a look at the next slide. Kenapa dia tak bergerak pula next slide ni? Alright. Okay, so the thing is, I actually want to mention to you, I want actually to express what does it mean by quantitative and qualitative data. Okay, for examples, from the videos, you can see the stories of something in the classroom, kan? What happened in the classroom. Okay, so usually from what happened from the observation and from the stories, you can actually, from the videos, I mean, you can get the story. Okay. You can get the stories, you can understand the situations and whatnot. Okay. But if the stories is not actually interpret to the data, then it will be meaningless. Dia tidak akan bermakna apa-apa. So kalau you just watch the videos without any observation that I ask you to watch the videos and do observation, then the video will remain as just a brief video. But when you give a meaning, disrespected the numbers of the students and whatnot, those is actually the data that can give actually authority to our stories. Dia akan jadi apa? Dia akan jadi kukuh lah kan. Bila kita tengok something, observation, kita buat observation, kita pun ada data, and then the data akan give the meaning to our stories. And the other way around. Okay, so as Wendy said, stories give life to data, and data gives authority to stories. Kalau kita nak bercerita, kita boleh bercerita je. Oh, hari tu saya pergi pavilion kan. Oh, seronok lah gini. Tapi what will be the evidence yang you pergi pavilion, you seronok because kat pavilion tu ada A, B and C. So you need to capture the data to give your stories an authority. So itu yang kita akan buat dalam research kita. Okay, when we are dealing with mixed method research design, you will deal with numerical and also an observation ataupun a statement of data for qualitative. So for qualitative, it's quite challenges for you to verify and give authority and credibility to the data. So that's why sometimes we need a support from a facts and figure, from the numerical facts and figure, so that you punya qualitative data will be more credible for you to present in your research. Boleh Setakat tu okey ke semua? Ini saya just nak createkan the environment supaya you faham kenapa kita kena bagi meaning kepada kita punya observation, things that happen around us. Kalau kita tak bagi meaning, kita tak bagi apa-apa jenis data ataupun kita tak bagi meaningful observation to those things yang happens, then it will remain as meaningful situation. Less meaningful situation. Dah boleh berdelik dah petang-petang. Okay, so now let us take a look. What is mixed method research design? Okay. Alright, so I believe you have already been exposed to qualitative data and also quantitative data. And you also have a prior knowledge about the qualitative study and also quantitative study. Okay, now let us take a few seconds, okay, to read the things in the table. Okay, cuba tengok betul-betul, baca betul-betul every points in the table. And which one you think is quantitative and which one you think is qualitative? Anyone? Cuba tengok betul-betul.
Qualitative.
Sorry, Tuan Zakaria again?
The way I look at it, I think it's more of like qualitative is very subjective in terms of interpretation, whereas quantitative is very objective in terms of it's been clearly defined.
Okay, cool. So do you mean on the left side will be the qualitative analysis? Qualitative study?
Qualitative is on the left of my side and the quantitative is on my right.
Okay, cool. So being subjective will be qualitative, right, Tuan Zakaria? And the rest of
Yes.
class? Okay, cool. Being objective is quantitative study, right?
Yes.
Okay, now let us take a look the major differences. Okay, cool. The first one, findings gathered in a written format. Okay, macam you cakap tadi lah, being disrespected to the teachers. That one is the statement that refer to qualitative data. Okay, however, for quantitative data, okay, usually kita akan gather the data in numerical form. Macam one of our friends cakap tadi, the number of the students in the class. So that will be the quantitative data. Okay, cannot be analyzed using statistical analysis. So this one is qualitative data. Again, dia tak boleh guna statistical analysis. Okay, so this one is quali, this one is quanti. Whereas for quanti can be analyzed using statistical analysis. Okay, now for quali, usually kita buat quali untuk understand the phenomenon in details. Okay, probably to answer why and how. Because our numerical data cannot give us a figure why and how, the reason behind the data itself. Okay, sebab numerical only bagi a detailed facts about the pattern, trending and whatnot, but they cannot explain why and how the pattern happen ataupun trend happen. Okay, so that's why sometimes in certain situation we need a qualitative study to support our quantitative data. All right, and usually quantitative data concern with establishing answers, the what, the where, the when in the question, but they can't answer the why and the how. Okay, now my question is, what about mixed method? Kalau kita tengok mixed method ni, it is both of quantitative and also both of quantitative and qualitative. Okay, however, some scholars said kalau quantitative ni sikit sangat, qualitative ni besar, banyak, kita boleh panggil lagi mixed method. Ada some scholars said macam tu. For examples like 90% of our study ataupun 80% of our study is quantitative method. We are using survey and whatnot. But qualitative method is just a small portions in our research. Okay. Some pertinent authors said we can't actually clarify our study as mixed methods. Dia mestilah sampai 50-50. Macam tu. Betul ke? Adakah itu adalah pendapat yang benar? Okay. It is correct if you refer to those pertinent author. So if you want to do that kind of mixed method study, 50-50 dan declare as mixed method, you need to cite ataupun refer to those particular pertinent author. Okay, ini satu prinsip yang saya nak tekankan. Walaupun ada master student here, ada undergraduate students also. So even though you are undergraduate students, please, whenever you choose the methods and also the design, please make sure you refer to pertinent author. Not just simply pick up it. Nah, kita tak nak main petik-petik je. Oh, saya buat quanti and quali sebab gini. Saya buat macam ni sebab design saya macam ni. Tapi itu disebabkan kita personal opinion. Okay, please don't do that. Okay, usually kita kena buat and then kita kena refer to the pertinent author. Always cite your choice and your justification for your research design. Okay, so usually mixed methods are used when neither quantitative nor qualitative methods alone would be sufficient. So means in our research, we are doing research but quantitative data cannot explain our findings in wholesome. Tak boleh. Dia macam, tak cukup. Macam tak berapa nak kena. Kan, mesti ada support from interviews and whatnot. So in this particular area ataupun in this particular situations, you need to opt out for mixed methods design. If you think your quantitative study, stand-alone punya study enough and adequate to answer your research questions, then by all means, you don't have to do mixed method. Okay? Jadi kalau nak nampak comprehensive, nak nampak more rigorous, support the data from quantitative and whatnot, so you can opt out for mixed methods research. Okay, so by saying that, of course, kita kena susun betul-betul, arrange our research questions in order for us to identify the strategies, the approach, the mixed method design that we want to employ in our study. If not, then dia akan jadi caca marba sikit lah. So means you really need to sit down and scrutinize what is the purpose of the study and you need to design your research question accordingly. Okay, now let us go together the examples of research questions that I've shown on the screen. Okay, so that later you boleh jawab whether it is quantitative or qualitative. Cuba kita baca satu-satu. Mungkin saya panggil Aina Azhar untuk baca the first one. Boleh ke Aina?
Boleh, Doktor.
Okay, silakan.
Example 1. What is the correlation between the use of educational technology and student engagement in high school science classes?
Okay, cool. Thank you. 1 star for you, Aina. Now, this research question refer to quantitative study or qualitative study? Anyone?
Quantitative.
Quantitative study. Why you say quantitative? Aina. Aina juga yang jawab Okay, Aina.
Because the word of correlation sebenarnya.
Okay, so we are focusing on, alamak, sorry. Sekejap. Okay, so we have keywords there, correlation. So correlations mean we want to investigate the relationship between our IV independent variables and also dependent variable. So this one is quanti. Betul? Semua setuju? Semua agree?
Doktor nak tanya,
Boleh,
kalau
silakan.
saya relationship and correlations kan, does it have a different interpretation ke dia memang quantitative?
Oh, okay. Good question. Kalau you guna relationship and also correlation, ya?
Betul.
Okay. Now, correlation and relationship selalunya bagi the same dimensions of data. But it depends on the types of data that you want to collect actually. Kalau you nak collect the data qualitative, that means dia akan go for qualitative lah. But as you can see this one, you tengok between the use of education technology and student engagement. So the data itself is the quantitative. Tapi kalau kata nak tengok the relationship between experiences and opinions. So that will go for qualitative. So the types of data that you collect tu pun akan akan determine what types of study. Okay, cuma kalau you tanya I, dia mempunyai satu dimension yang sama, which is relationship. But quantitative or quali, it depends on the types of data that you collect. Am I answering your question, Nabila?
Faham? Okay.
Faham, eh? Okay, good. Cool. Thank you for that question. Alright, now the second one. Siapa volunteer nak baca the second
I
example?
can.
Okay, please. Silakan.
How do teachers implement the remote learning to enhance student engagement in teaching and learning? I think
Okay.
this is a qualitative study.
Qualitative. Why, Shamila?
Because I think it's quite subjective on
Hmm.
I imagine when I read this example, I imagine like the researcher have to go and ask the teachers how do they implement it to enhance student engagement. So it's
Okay.
I see it as something that is subjective. So that's how I concluded that this is a qualitative study.
Qualitative study. Okay, thank you so much, Samila. 1 star for you. Okay, now the tips ya, kalau you nak tengok quali or quanti. Kalau you tengok the keywords in front adalah how. So how and why is usually kita kena address using qualitative. And second, apa yang Ain cakap, okay, kalau you tengok, Syamilah, Ain Syamilah cakap, okay, kalau you tengok, this research question focus on how teachers implement the remote learning to enhance the student engagement. So how do the teachers implement? Means they want to actually focus on the procedures, on the way, you know. So perhaps kita kena ada some kind of observation towards the teachers' implementation in the classroom. Okay, so this one is qualitative. Boleh? Any questions kat sini? Ada soalan? Clear. Okay, now example 3. Anyone? Ada nak baca? Volunteer? Ataupun saya panggil nama? Wah, panggil nama. Macam dalam kelas juga you all ni, kena panggil nama.
Okay, I volunteer then.
Okay. Yes, Tuan Zakaria penyelamat keadaan.
How do student perceptions of their school environment relate to differences in test scores? Okay. From the basic, if you look at it, from the how, it looks very qualitative.
Okay.
But now it's trying to relate. So it looks like they have both. Because first we do the how, do the assumption, I mean the observation, the students' perceptions on the thing, and they try to relate the differences in the test scores. So that can be numerical, that can be quantitative. The way I look at it, it's more of like a mixture.
Okay, so means we have on the first phase kita ada how, right?
Yes.
Students' perception. And then eventually at the end kita nak relate to the test score. Okay, so this is actually one of the examples for quanti, quali or mixed method research question. So here is mixed method RQ. Jangan terkejut sebab even though your research design mixed method, you can actually combine the mixed method punya design to in one research question. Atau you boleh juga kalau you buat research, you boleh buat mixed method tapi you have a different research question. The first one is quanti, the second one is quali pun boleh. Jangan terkejut Nanti kita akan tengok based on the design of mixed method because it depends a lot on the choices of the design that you choose for your study. If you choose convergent, then your research question arrangement is different. If you choose embedded design, then your research question arrangement will be different also. So later kita akan discuss about that one. Okay, good. One star for you, Tuan Zakaria.
You.
Okay, next one. Example number 4 and last one. Anyone? Kena panggil ni. Amirul. Are you here with us, Amirul?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, Amirul. Could you please read the question for us?
Okay, I can see it. How can voter and non-voter beliefs about democracy help explain election turnout patterns in town X?
Okay, terus jawablah Amirul. What do you think the research question refer to? Quanti ke, quali ke, mix?
I think it can either be quanti or mixed method. I don't think quali.
You don't think it is quali, but you more to mixed method.
Yeah.
Okay, could you please explain why you choose for mixed method?
For starters, because they want to determine the beliefs of democracy, that we can only do is we can use survey method because we can determine whether you're a voter or non-voter, for one.
Okay.
And then maybe in terms of beliefs, it would have to be like a version of qualitative because we have to interview. We could ask the people what based on what their beliefs are in terms of democracy.
Okay, all right, cool, Amirul. One star for you, Amirul. Thank you. Okay, so example number 4 actually have the same pattern as example number 3, right? Okay, first of all, we actually want to take a look how the beliefs of voter and non-voter, and then later we want to explain the turnout patterns for the election in town X. So probably kita kena ada 2 types of data here, and then kita akan tengok the relationship also between the beliefs and also the patterns that turn out in elections for town X. Okay, so this one is also mixed method, and it is more to embedded mixed method because concurrently actually analyze the data and then kita integratekan the data for one research question. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, these are the examples of the research questions that you can actually develop in your mixed method or quanti-quali study. Okay, any questions at this particular point? Sebab ramai yang tanya saya, boleh ke kita develop one research question, but in one research question, we have 2 types of data that we want to take a look. Yes, we can. It depends on your research designs of mixed method of your choice. Nanti kita akan go further based on the different research design. Okay, tak ada soalan Okay, now let us take a look when to use mixed method design. Okay, probably when you doing your research, okay, kadang kita nak senangkan research kita kan. So we only use a standalone method, okay, which is quantitative or qualitative. Usually undergraduate students is more, what we call that, more interest to quantitative data. Because you develop the questionnaire, the survey, and then kita pun administered, and then okay, settle, analyze the data using SPSS. Kadang-kadang tak ramai yang nak guna qualitative data because of the nature, how to collect the data, and also how you want to explain and discuss the data later. Dia macam rigorous sikit kan. Okay, but anyway, bila kita perlu consider yang kita perlu guna mixed method design. Okay, first of all, when you are using qualitative data, okay, you are using interview for example, okay, and then you interview 3 person. You panggil untuk interview. This one, of course, you punya sampling adalah kalau qualitative and interview, biasanya sampling dia jenis apa? What is the sampling technique that will be used suitable for this one? Interview for 3 person. What will be the sampling technique?
Purposive sampling.
Purposive sampling. Okay, purposive sampling. Okay, bila kita buat purposive sampling, this purposive sampling, the data that we get from the purposive sampling cannot be generalized to a larger population. Okay, so to mitigate the weaknesses of the qualitative data, sebab kita tak boleh nak generalize to a larger population, we support the qualitative data of interview ni tadi, kita support dengan survey data. Okay, so survey data ni kita buatlah random sampling and it is quantitative data. So with that, you can actually generalize your findings to a larger population. So in this situation, if you want to generalize your findings, but you still need to do interview sikit, you kena ada quantitative data to support so that you can generalize your finding to a larger population. Okay, so this is the first situation when to use the mixed method. Okay, the second one is to contextualize your analysis or your findings. Okay, usually I kat situ to put on the bones of your analysis. Okay, sometimes when we do our study, standalone study, for example, we are using only quantitative. You are looking into frequency, mean, levels, okay? But that data is not adequate for you to go further with your discussion. Dia macam bones je lah kan, macam alahai. Frekuensi aja. We are talking about berapa persen. But we don't have any support macam what lead to those contributions or percentage. Jadi dia macam bone aja bila you letakkan dalam you punya discussion. So to put meat on that bones, okay, you pun add satu lagi strategi which is interview with the students, okay, to see what factors that contribute to the enhancements of the percentage tu tadi. So you pun letaklah qualitative study. So in this case, when you actually integrate both of the studies, then your study will become more comprehensive and the bones dah ada meat. Jadi kenyang lah sikit makan kan. Ni raya korban ni sebab tu I letak perkataan tu supaya kita align dengan kita punya tema hari ni, raya korban. Kan kau dapat sup tulang, ya Allah, tulang betul-betul. Ada daging. Kenyang ke? Tak, duk isap tulang je. So now we want to put the meat, a little bit meat on the bone supaya kenyang sikit bila kita baca the research tu kan. So this is actually to put the context of the research to your study. Macam tu. Okay, so the third one, to actually give credibility to your study. Okay, dia macam ni to strengthen the validity of your data using the process what we call as triangulation. Okay, so for example, if you have a quantitative data, okay, ingat quantitative data ni only answer the what, when, where question, more or less, okay? But the quantitative data cannot explain what happened behind the scene. What are the factors that contribute to those what, when, and where? Okay. So to put more credibility to the facts that you have, the relationship and whatnot kan, jadi kita pun tambahkan qualitative data to support the quantitative data. Okay, for examples, katalah A. Okay, students A experience an enhancement in the score after you give them your module, for example. So before module, the score is 60%. After give your module intervention, the score enhanced to 98%. Alamak, 8%. Okay, so by using quantitative study, you just can only explain the significant difference in the score. Okay, significantly enhanced. So statistically significant. Dia punya enhancement tu significant statistically. But of course, you can't actually explain why. Okay, why the score enhanced to this particular significant level. So in this case, you need to add on your qualitative study. Ask the question to the students, okay, what factors that contribute to the enhancement ataupun to the increment of the score. So in a way, you put a triangulation. Triangulation ni apabila you combine your data, your findings from quali and then quanti to support each other. So ada data. Jadi contoh, bila you tanya students pun jawab, oh, because the module that used by teachers helped me a lot. The animation that teachers show in that module make me visualize able to visualize the process in my mind. So dia triangulate lah tu. Maka sedap lah sikit you kata, oh memang the score increase because of the module. Faham Boleh So this is actually to give a credibility to your research. Macam tu. Okay, any question at this point? Ada soalan ke? Tak ada. Kalau ada soalan in the chat box pun boleh letak Okay, setakat ni okay. Are you with me? Masih lagi bersama dengan saya?
Yes, Doctor.
Cuba angkat tangan sikit. Angkat tangan. Cuba buat tu reaction tu. Siapa tak tahu nak buat reaction tu kat mana. Kalau Google Meet tu kan ada je kat bawah tu kan. Ketik-ketik kan. Aduh, hai. Webex ni dah lama dah tak pakai. Okay. Alright, cool. Okay, thank you for the hands. Alright, next. We go to the next slide. Research design. Okay, kat sini crucial sikit. Okay, for those yang nak buat mixed method, then please focus on this part. Okay, because I want to actually share how you're gonna actually write down your design, explain your research design in your write-up also, and also nak justify kenapa you nak kena guna mixed method and whatnot. Yeah, I mean the layer of the research design tu. Okay, based on my experience, many of us a lack of justification when it comes to justify the research design. Sometimes as simple as, what is your research design? My research design is quanti-quali. Atau my research design is mixed method. My research design is, so actually research design is more than the mixed method, mono method. It's more than that. Okay, we have a few layers of research design for you to explain in your write-up. Okay, so now, when we actually want to explain our research design, we need to refer to a certain model of research design. The one that I show currently, perhaps it's a bit complicated, but I think most of you dah pernah nampak benda ni. I'm not sure undergraduate students, but I think for master student, most of you actually dah jumpa benda ni dalam research methods class. Kan? And then kalau you dalam my class, I memang introduce this particular model for you. But for undergraduate students, I'm not sure do you learn this or not in your research method class. But anyway, today I'm introduce you what we call as research onions. Kita panggil kalau bahasa Melayu bawang lah kan. Bawang penyelidikan. Dia bukan dalam kehidupan kita je kena membawang. Bila you explain your research design pun you kena membawang juga. Okay, so this will be our research onions. Kita kena kupas layer by layer. Macam kita kupas bawang tu. Okay, alright. So as you can see here, sekejap I put it down sekejap. I tak nampak. Okay, as you can see here, we have a few layer. Jangan stress, okay? Sebab kita akan pergi layer by layer. Alright, now as you can see, first layer in Saunders punya research onions will be the philosophy. Ni first layer, outer layer, kan? Layer yang paling luar. Okay, so this one is the first layer. When we design our research, okay, we need to actually explain each layer. Sampailah dia jadi a comprehensive paragraph, then that will be your research design. Research design ni macam kita nak design rumah jugalah. Nak design sebuah rumah tu kita kena ada apa? Oh, the structure, batu jenis apa, this jenis apa, plan, luas berapa. So everything about the things that you need to develop your home, your house tadi tu, it is a design. So when we actually put that in our research, everything that you plan in your research, that is actually the research design. So it's not just mention, oh, mine is mixed method, or mine is quantitative, or mine is qualitative. No, that one is not research design. That one is method. Okay, based on Saunders. Right, now, let us take a look at this one. Okay, philosophy ni kalau ada, good to have. Tapi for you, for undergraduate, tak perlu pun tak apa. Tak perlu mention philosophy pun tak apa. Okay, but for master student and postgraduate students, perhaps you need to mention also the philosophy that you stands out. Kenapa you pilih those philosophy? Okay, for example, I nak make sense. Kenapa philosophy ni penting? Contoh, let's say the first layer, we have a few philosophies in the layer. Okay. The first one, positivism. So positivism, the philosophy is, in anyhow, you only can use facts and figure as your findings to discuss the reality of the research. So means, for positivism, probably they only use a quantitative data. So if you actually hold on to this philosophy, you tak boleh pakai mixed method. Dia kena align dengan kita punya philosophy kat sini. Ini saya bagi tahu sekadar on the surface, ya. It's good to know. Okay, it's good to know. So if you choose positivism, then probably you tak boleh choose mixed method. Tak boleh. Sebab positivism hanya nak data, numerical data only, facts and figures. Okay. Now, contoh yang kedua, However, if you use pragmatism, for example. Okay, pragmatism ni, kalau dalam research philosophy, kita panggil dia macam lalang. Yang bagus, okay, ambil. Yang tak bagus, jangan. Dia lalang. Kalau yang ni bagus, dia ambil. Yang ni bagus, dia ambil. So, dia boleh ke kiri dan ke kanan. So, for pragmatism philosopher, okay, they think any methods, any strategies, as long as it will help you to answer your research questions, then it's a go. Gunalah macam mana pun. Okay? Tak kisahlah you nak letak yang ni dulu ke yang tu dulu ke, it's okay. Because for pragmatism, anything that benefits your research, you can use and employ it in your study. So, if you choose pragmatism philosophy, then you can go for mixed method. Kan? Mixed method, multi-method, bolehlah pilih. Because pragmatism, dia tak kisah on the types of data and types of technique and strategy. So itu kenapa kita kena ada philosophy. But for you, for undergraduate, it's good to know lah. Kalau you tak ada pun dalam you punya write-up, it's okay. No problem. Okay, now, the second layer. Boleh setakat tu, kalau any question, please ask. Ya, please ask. Okay, so that one is the first layer. Now, the second layer will be, jangan pening, kita tengok layer by layer. Kita ada approach. So be careful. When you want to actually write down your proposal and whatnot, please be careful the terms that you use. Sometimes many juga I tengok, my approach is mixed method. No. Kalau according to Saunders, approach is actually how you develop your study based on theory ke, tak based on theory ke. Okay, so we have three types of approach. Deduction, abduction, and also induction. Okay, so the second layer you need to explain in your write-up is what will be your approach to your research. Okay, now, I nak introduce you the approach. Okay, if your approach in the study, you do observation first, you turun pergi kelas kan, and then you do your observation, you pun collect the data, buat analysis data, and then come up with hypothesis, and then later you refer to the theory ataupun come out dengan teori baru. So ini adalah inductive approach. Usually undergraduate tak gunalah this particular method. Sebab kita usually akan start with theory first. Am I right? Your supervisor will ask you to find out the theory of teaching and learning and whatnot. So from the theory, okay, from the theory, you will develop your hypothesis, you will develop your research questions, you will do your observation, and then last, you will discuss your findings. So, if you are using this particular pattern, that means your approach of your study is deductive. So, explain lah dalam you punya write-up tu. This study approach is deductive because we start from finding out our theoretical framework. So from theoretical framework, we develop research questions, this and that, this and that. Okay? So deductive approach. All right. Now, the last one is abductive approach. So abductive approach ni usually untuk undergraduate pun kita buat lah benda ni. Abductive approach ni where actually you come out with a theory elaboration. Ini memang something yang kadang a breakthrough lah kan. So means you ada theory, you focus on the theory, and then eventually your study come out dengan additional element for the theory. Main-main petang-petang ni. Okay, so means this is abduction. You later on find out, oh, this element is very suitable for you to embed it in the existing theory. So you add an element to the theory. So ini kita panggil dia adaptive. So usually undergraduate tak buat benda ni. Okay, masters and postgraduate mungkin boleh buat. Okay, so more or less we will focus on the deductive approach. Most of us will develop a research question based on the theory. Kita akan buat kita punya hypothesis, collect our data, kan? Observe and discuss our findings. So for your approach, focus on deductive approach. Okay. This particular point, okay ke? Dapat first and second layer? Okay. Boleh ke? Boleh ke? Ada soalan? Setakat ni? Okay. Cool. Now, the third layer. Kita dah finish the first one. Second one kita dah finish. Okay. Now, the third layer. Kita datang kepada method. Methodological choice. So, dekat sini lah kita akan explain what will be our method. So, in your case today, you are choosing mixed method. Right? Okay. Mixed method, there are two types of mixed method. Mixed method simple and mixed method complex. Okay, and the rest also. So I mean, ada a few types also. Mono method quanti, mono method quali, multi-method quanti, multi-method quali. So these are the things ataupun methodological choices in our research that you can choose. Okay, but today kita akan focus on mixed method. Alright, now for methodological choices. Okay, I explain including multi-methods because sometimes ramai yang confused apa beza multi-methods and mixed methods. Okay, for multi-methods, you can utilize multiple methods but says within either quantitative or qualitative paradigm. Okay, so means for example, we have a multi-method quanti. Okay, so let's say in your study, you are using survey, you are using test score, kan? So this one, we call it as a multi-method because even though you are using a few technique and strategies, but still it is in a quantitative paradigm. You are not mixing it with qualitative. Okay, however, the latest one, I think ada juga yang multi-method quanti-quali pun ada. Tapi itu too complicated lah for me to explain to you today. Alright, so now, our focus today is mixed method. We have mixed method simple and mixed method complex. Okay, now, how to differentiate mixed method simple and mixed method complex? Okay, for mixed method simple, usually there is a limited integration of qualitative and quantitative strategies in simpler design to corroborate or to for initial exploration. Okay, so usually mixed method simple ni kita guna untuk corroborate our data. Untuk tengok kan, kita buat dulu kuali sikit to see how actually this will help us for quantitative study. So a very small study to actually analyze the patterns and whatnot so that we can develop our questionnaire for our survey. So that one is a very simple one. Contoh pertama. Contoh, katalah you buat interview with experts. Okay, and interview with experts ni because you want to develop your survey. You want to develop your survey item, your questionnaire item. Okay, so means this one is a simple mixed method. You use this particular data from interview to corroborate or to support your item's development in the survey. Okay, so this one is simple. Yeah, simple. Or the other case, you buat survey, you bagi dekat students kan, pergi sekolah nanti practicum, you give your students a survey, and then they answer, you analyze the data, but you need an interview for 2 or 3 students to see ataupun to explore the experience of the students. You nak support the data that you have from the survey. Okay, so that one is also mixed method simple. Okay, simple je. Satu to support each other. Alright, now, what about mixed method complex? Okay, mixed methods complex, it involves an extensive integration of quali and quanti across multiple stages to develop comprehensive insight. So I think for undergraduate, you better opt out for mixed method simple lah untuk familiarize with the data and whatnot. Okay, because mixed method complex ni dia macam ni. Contoh first stage, you are doing need analysis. Need analysis ni, alah minta maaf lah, saya punya tulisan tu ya. Sebab pen saya satu lagi tu hilang, ni pen yang ni. Alasan pen pula kan. Tapi memang dia mempengaruhi saya punya, saya punya tulisan. Okay, for example, the first stage you want to do need analysis, you buat interview dengan expert, you buat survey, lepas tu you pergi pula field observation. Okay, untuk need analysis stage sahaja. Okay, lepas need analysis stage, from this data, you proceed to develop your instrument. From this interview, from this survey, from this field observation, you develop your item for instrument. Okay, lepas you develop item, you pun buat you punya survey. Semasa you buat you punya survey, you buat pula test score. Tak tengok dia punya performance. Daripada test score and survey, you buat pula interview di akhirnya. Nak tengok experiences dia. So all this data from need analysis, survey, test score and interview, you integrate and become your main findings. Macam tu. So this one will be a mixed method complex. Okay, as you can see, you integrate and involve many strategies, quanti-quali, sampailah you can actually integrate all the findings for your major findings and discussion. Kalau yang simple tadi, simple je. Interview, survey, dah habis. And then explain. Integrate the data and then explain. Okay. So do you get it? Dapat idea ke mixed method simples and complex? Clear?
Yes, clear.
Alright, cool. The rest of you? Okay, Alright, cool. Thank you for the thumbs up. 3 orang je thumbs up pun. Yang lain tak tahulah. You all dah tumbuk sama belacan ke apa ni? Yang lain. Kita ada Zuhainiza pun ada masuk. Syazana, Syahira, Nabila, Ros. Nik Farah Alia, Nadira, Nazira. Where are you? Izzati, Helmi. Okay, but anyway. Settle Alright, cool Amirul. I'm doing mixed method simple. Okay, cool. So mixed method simples mean you need to strategize lah. Macam mana So this one lah. You're doing interview, you're doing perhaps survey and whatnot. So it depends on you. But there's no complex integration in between of the methods and whatnot. Okay, settle. Now, let us take a look basic mixed method design. Kita nak take a break dulu ke macam mana? Ke kita
Up
nak
to you,
teruskan?
Tuti.
Okay.
Do you need a 5 minutes breather?
I okay je kalau continue. Tapi student macam mana? Kalau nak 5 minute break pun boleh.
Boleh lah kot. 3 minutes 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
Supaya dia boleh macam duduk dan digest. Nanti masuk balik
betul.
advance content lepas
Correct.
ni.
Okay, boleh. No
Alright,
problem.
so shall we go for a 5 minutes break? My watch now is 5 minutes, so we'll come back at 3:10.
Okay.
Alright. Sempatlah nak order Grab kan? Coffee bean ke apa ke?
Cepat ke? Tolong order dan hantar sini.
Menyesal cakap.
Misal cakap. Okay lah. See you in 5 minutes.
Okay, alright, in 5 minutes, All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back also to our one speaker. Well-deserved break, 5 minutes. Okay, so are you ready to resume the session, Dr. Tuti?
Yes, I'm ready, Puan Suraimi.
Okay, so the floor is yours. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Puan Suraimi. Itulah, bila cerita pasal research design ni dah berasap dah. Telinga kan. Are you okay, guys? Yang lain-lain ni okay ke? Aina, Hanis, Amirul, Syamila, Nabila, Syahira. Oi, boleh baca sesatu ni sebab ada 30 orang je.
Ya, Doktor.
Florence, Shazana, Faruk, Nadira. N ni tak tahu. Memang namanya N kot Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that thumbs up. Now, let me share my screen. Sekejap ya. Okay. Alright, can you see my screen now? Boleh nampak ke? Yeah.
Yes, Doktor.
Alright, thank you for that response. Okay, now, after we discuss about the introductions to the mixed method, okay, you also dah tahu what types of mixed method that we have. Kita ada mixed method simple and mixed method complex. Okay. So for me, I'm advising untuk undergraduate students better you use the simple one lah. Sebab kalau you pakai complex pun, I think it's a time constraint juga you nak collect the data and whatnot. Okay. But for postgraduate students, by all means, you can actually go further with mixed method complex pun. Tak ada masalah. Okay. But anyway, in designing our research, we also need to clarify what will be our mixed methods design. Because when we are talking about mixed method design, we have a few designs that you can use in order for you to collect and also to analyze the data of your quantity and qualitative data accordingly. Okay, now the first design that I share with you on the screen currently, what we call as embedded design. Okay, now as you can see from the diagrams, yeah, embedded design is actually the embed version of qualitative research study, and you can see that qualitative research study have a broader scope. Okay, the green one is a qualitative data study. Okay, so qualitative data study have a broader scope, and then kita embed quantitative data in our qualitative data. Alright, so usually the quantitative study, okay, will offer a support to give a larger understanding to a qualitative data. Okay, whereas the qualitative studies will provide a more in-depth understanding of specific parts of your study. But again, the qualitative data tu dia lebih broader lah daripada quantitative study. And the other way around also can. You ada quantitative data yang broader compared to qualitative data yang lebih small, and then you embed inside your quantitative study. Okay, so ikut Creswell, it can be the other way around also. Okay, now, when you actually employ these types of embedded design, that means you are collecting the data also at the same time. Okay, kalau you tengok dia tak separate tu antara qualitative and also quantitative. So means you gathering the data at the same time, and then mix the data, you analyze, and then you get the results, and you integrate the data and give the interpretation for both of the data. Are you mixing the findings, and then you make sense of the findings. Usually you kena continuously relate your data qualitative dengan data quantitative during your discussion of findings. Okay, so this one is embedded design. Okay, now let me show you an examples of research questions for embedded design. Ini yang saya cakap tadi. Kalau you buat embedded design, that means your research question could be satu saja. So in one research question, you can embed the quantitative part and also the qualitative parts, because later you will discuss those results in mixing. Dia macam boleh mix the discussion. Okay, so for examples, yang ni ada our friends yang baca example 3 and example 4 previously kan, itu adalah embedded design punya quantitative, mixed method design. How do student perceptions of their school environment relate to differences in test score? So based on this research question, yang manakah qualitative part of our research? Anyone? How do student perception of their school environment relate to differences in test score? So which one is qualitative part?
Students' perceptions of the school environment.
All right, cool. One star for you. Help me, Syed Farhan. Okay, so this one is quali, right? Okay, which one is the quanti part?
The test scores, the differences.
All right, the differences in the test score. So this one is quantitative. Okay, so you can combine one star for each of you. Kumpul lah star tu. Nanti at the end of the day, kita akan kira star tu. Tapi tak adalah RM RM10 macam Puan Zuraimi suggest tu. Kotak lah kepala saya. Tak boleh nak bagi ni duit raya haji nanti ni. Okay, but anyway. Quali and quanti can be embedded in one research question. So this one, actually you punya design adalah embedded design. Boleh? Clear? Clear. Okay, kalau saya cepat sangat, tolong kejutkan saya. Okay, the second one is explain. Kita ada sequential design. Tadi embedded design, and then this one is sequential design. Okay, in sequential design kita ada dua jenis. Kita ada explanatory and kita ada exploratory. Okay, so the first one will be explanatory sequential design. Okay, so as you can see based on the diagrams, okay, for sequential ni maksudnya dia in sequence. Dia tak berlaku simultaneously macam embedded. Okay, you can go with, for explanatory, you go with quantitative first. Okay, you collect quantitative data, you analyze the quantitative data, and then you need a further follow-up from a qualitative data. So you collect the qualitative data, analyze the data, and you will triangulate and interpret the data. Tadi I had mentioned about triangulation to increase the credibility of your research, right? So means, bila you dapat data findings for quantitative, yeah, findings for quantitative, okay, you triangulate with findings in your qualitative study. Then you bagilah, you discuss one by one, one by one. So this one for your findings, you can report the quantitative part first, and then report qualitative part second, and then later in your discussion and discussion of findings, you kena corroborate. Maksudnya you kena triangulatekan the data to discuss it as your findings, your major finding. So this one is explanatory. Explanatory, dia akan start with quantitative dulu. Alright. So this method is characterized by the collection and data analysis of quantitative data, followed by qualitative data. So the goal is to use the qualitative findings to explain and interpret the quantitative results. Jadi macam examples tu, yang tadi saya cakap tadi tu kan. Maksudnya you buat survey dulu and then you buat interview with the student. So interview tu tadi dia boleh explain and support the quantitative data yang you dapat on the first stage. Okay. Examples of research question. So in this case, because you have a sequential study, a sequential design, maksudnya dia come after one another, dia tak concurrently happen. So you can have a different research question. Dia boleh ada dua research question yang berbeza. So the first research question is refer to quantitative part. Okay, for examples in here, is there any significant differences in the mean score of pre-test and post-test after being exposed to new teaching method among secondary student? Alamak, macam terbalik je ayat saya tu. Okay, tak apalah. The things that I want to emphasize will be the mean score of the pre-test and post-test. Okay, so this one is refer to quantitative part. Okay, and then after you are doing the perhaps the pre-test and post-test, mungkin eksperimen lah punya design kan. Then you follow up with the second research question, which is how the new teaching method contribute to the teaching and learning experiences. But if you notice, dia mestilah related to each other. Dia tak boleh tiba-tiba the qualitative part tu doesn't have any relationship with the first research question that you stated earlier. So dia mesti ada related between this research question, dia kena ada related to this research question. Okay, so for explanatory sequential design, you can have two different research questions, and then you can put it in, arrange it in sequence. The first one, go for quanti first. The second one will be the qualitative. And at the end of it, you can triangulate both of the findings and interpret it accordingly and discuss in your discussion. Okay, so this one is explanatory. Okay, kalau ada soalan, boleh shoot je at any point, ya. Okay, now, this one is sequential design, the second types of sequential design, which is exploratory. Okay, the other way around, ya. Kalau explanatory tadi, quantitative data kita collect dulu. And then kita follow up with qualitative data. But for exploratory, kita pergi with qualitative data first. So the green one is qualitative data. Usually qualitative data ni we are doing a needs analysis ke kan. Kita nak tahu the needs of certain groups of people before we come out with our survey instrument. So kita buat dulu interview, a very simple interview, and then those very simple interview tu akan help us to design something, intervention ke, a survey ke for our participants later. Alright. Then after dapat je data analysis atau findings from the qualitative part, kita akan use that particular data to design our quantitative instrument, quantitative intervention and whatnot. Okay, then last but not least, again, you need to triangulate the data from both parts and discuss in your findings. Okay, so ingat explanatory start with quanti, support by quali, exploratory start with qualitative, and also and then the qualitative part I used to actually design some things for your quantitative study. Okay, but still dia kena triangulate. Boleh Okay, the last one. Sorry, belum last lagi. Okay, jangan. Tak last lagi. Ini I nak explain about research question dulu. Kan last kan tak terus tinggalkan saya kat sini. Okay, but anyway, the research question. It could be two separate research question. Macam explanatory pula juga because it is a sequential. So it means after one another baru you buat the study. It's not embedded ataupun convergent ya. Okay, so the first one is what are the necessity to create new teaching method? Nampak I buat example tu supaya you boleh buat make sense lah. You make sense macam mana qualitative tu boleh support you punya quantitative part. Okay, so here we want to find the necessity, the needs analysis lah more or less. So you ask the expert's opinion, what are the necessity, using interview for examples, and then after you get the data, you gunakan data tu untuk design you punya survey. Okay, so research question for quantitative, what are the level of students' participation after being exposed to new teaching method? So this one, survey lah. You buat teaching method and sebagainya, and then you put administered the survey, and then you analyze what are the level of students' participation. Okay, so then later triangulate all both data and then discuss in your discussions of findings. Okay, clear. Yes, Puan Zuraimi.
Dr. Tuti, I wonder whether students know what is the meaning of triangulation.
Oh, okay. Alright. Cool.
Cuba tanya, tengok tahu tak?
Boleh. Do you know what?
Cik.
Tanya. Do you know what is triangulation, guys? Anyone? Tahu ke tak tahu? Ataupun
Maybe raise up your
further-
hand if you know.
Tak tahu. Betul lah. Tanya tadi ada soalan ketak. Tak nak tanya. Cupik. Jangan baru tahu. Nangis terus Azira. Okay, but anyway. Triangulation ni is actually macam mana nak explain in a simpler way. Okay. Tak ingat ni memang kena. Kalau tak tahu boleh lagi. Tak ingat ni memang kena. Okay, but anyway. Triangulation is something that the process where you actually use both of the data, okay, to support your findings. Contoh katalah you ada quantitative data, okay, which is the necessity. Qualitative data dulu. Kita ambil this one. So kita ada qualitative data. Maaflah, saya nak lukis kat mana ya? Kejap ya. Macam senak pula melihat segala benda berada di sini. Okay, kejap saya padam dulu. Okay, now we go first one for qualitative data. Okay, let's say you have a qualitative data. You dah dapat interview data from the expert's opinion. Okay, so you get what are the necessity. Okay, so necessity dia for examples like dia perlu disebabkan oleh the lack of knowledge. Dia perlukan new teaching method yang hands-on for examples ya. So adalah a few things. Okay, and then after that from this one you dah create you punya survey. Okay, create survey item dan sebagainya, and then you measure to the students to see the participation. Okay, so you get your quanti data. Okay, so you pun dapatlah participation punya level, katalah medium ataupun high lah kan lepas intervention tu kan. Okay, so this is the levels of participation. Now, bila you nak discuss, okay, you kena integrate the findings from qualitative part and also quantitative part. You kena integrate both findings to come up with your discussion. Kena discuss both data to support each other. So let's say you buat this one, katalah you dapat high, betul lah support daripada qualitative data macam ni. Because teacher said when they are doing hands-on, suppose dia punya students participation dia akan enhance in the classroom. So from this particular data, you boleh support the data quantitative yang you dapat. So ini kita panggil dia sebagai triangulation to support the data from each other. So mean you need to discuss from both perspective of quantitative and quantitative data. Macam tu. Boleh ke? Dapat ke the idea what is actually triangulation means?
Nak tanya.
Boleh, silakan.
Okay. Because of the word triangulation, does that mean that we need to have 3 methods of data collection?
3 methods of data collection. Sorry, Puan Zuraimi,
I
kat
mean,
mana?
like maybe you need to have, like, for example, we have, does it have to be through 3 methodologies? For example, we have survey, interview, and document analysis, for example. Or would having like 2 types of data collection is sufficient?
Okay, good. Alright, thank you, Cik. Macam
Nak
participant
bagi
juga
star
lah kan?
kat kalau bagi star kat minta claim duit lepas tu.
Tak ada. You tolak star. Tak tambah star. Okay, but anyway. Alright, so for triangulation data, okay, I think 2 types of method tu dah adequate sebenarnya. Okay, tapi untuk enhancekan the credibility, if you need the third one to support certain data, yes, you can add. Tapi kalau ada 2 types of data tu pun selalunya dia dah mencukupi untuk triangulate quanti and quali. Macam tu. Unless kalau qualitative data tu you insufficient, then you want to add a document analysis. Okay, for example, you nak tengok dia punya lesson plan, kan? So you pun ambil satu document analysis and then you triangulate pula for the qualitative part. Oh, betul lah dia cakap kat sini, dia buat hands on. So kita nak make sure betul ke dia buat hands on. Kan bila masa interview dia kata dia buat hands on. Tapi what are the evidence yang dia buat hands on? So you pun ambil satu lagi which is lesson plan. Macam tu. So sufficient or not sufficient is depends on the researcher judgment lah. Okay, sometimes you need to look into the data that you have. Kalau you rasa macam mana I nak buktikan yang dia buat hands on dekat dalam kelas dia. So you pun ambil dia punya lesson plan. Ataupun you pergi dalam kelas and then you buat the observation, kan. Bila buat observation, you record sikit, oh memang betul dia buat hands on activities. Okay, so itu you can integrate in your findings of the data. Macam tu. Okay, am I answering your question, Puan Zuraimi?
Yeah, saya buat rumusan sikit boleh, Dr. Tuti?
Boleh.
Before we go further. So the fact that we are into this mixed method design, you have more than 1 type of data to triangulate. Betul tak, Dr. Tuti? For mixed method researchers lah in here yang AA-nya buat ataupun research project dia buat mixed method.
Yes,
As
betul.
opposed to other students who are delving into quantitative but only 1 type of data collection. For example, survey. Or qualitative, they are doing observation sahaja. They only have 1 type of data. But the fact that you are doing mixed method, you have more than 1 type of data collection. So, which at the end, you have to analyze both type of data that you have if you are doing 2. And when you are supporting your findings with the findings of both, in a way that is triangulating. Betul ke, Dr. Tuti?
Betul.
Itu yang triangulate. Cuma, it's just that when I was starting doing research, when I see the word triangulation, I was like, kena ada 3 ke? Because it triangulate. So it's not necessarily the case. In case if you have people misconceive that. As long as you have more than 1, so that is triangulating when you are corroborating your data in answering the research question. Betul ke dapat RM100 ke 1 star?
Okay, 5 star for Puan
Okay.
Zuraimi.
Alright, okay, teruskan. Sorry for the intermission. Teruskan, Dr. Tuti. Thank you.
Okay, no worries, Puan Zuraimi. Okay, so in a way, if you have 2 types, yes, of course. Bila buat mixed method, kita ada kelebihan because we have 2 types of data. Kita ada quantitative and qualitative. So in a way, kalau nak triangulate tu, dia mesti daripada 2 data yang berbeza lah. Kalau tidak, you still lagi dalam multi-method and then you just discuss the findings separately sebenarnya. Kalau multi-method ni, you guna a different method, okay, quanti, quali, but the data that you capture tu adalah untuk those phase only. It will not be actually triangulate as your main findings. Tapi kalau mixed method, kita akan triangulatekan 2 types of data untuk support each other for the major findings. So itu adalah mixed method design. Alright. Okay, so I hope everybody clear with the triangulation. Ada lagi ke nak nangis? Kalau nak nangis sekarang, lepas tu tanya. Ada Okay. Alright, cool. Thank you. Okay, now let us take a look convergent design. Okay, kalau convergent design, okay, as you can see, this one tak ada triangulation kat ujung dia, kan? Dia tak ada triangulation. Dia ada interpretation sahaja kat situ. Because convergent design is the design meant to compare. They compare and merge the results. There's no triangulations data to support. Dia bukan data tu kita ambil untuk integrate and then kita support each other for the credibility. Tak ada. Okay, convergent design is more to, we have two types of study. Kita ada quantitative, kita ada qualitative. Katalah macam tadi, kita ada video kan of disruptive behavior tu. So we have a report from the teachers. 3 kali dia buat disruptive behavior in the classroom. So that one will be quantitative study. Quantitative data. Numerical kan. And then qualitative data pula, the teacher make a report, a very brief report, what types of disruptive behavior that they're having in the classroom. Okay, so that one is in the statement. So you have a qualitative data analysis. Okay, now, when you have this data, quantitative and qualitative, which is kalau you tengok dia memang berlaku secara parallel. It means they concurrent. Betul ke tu? Concurrent. Dia berlaku serentak. Dia bukan sequence. Macam tadi Okay, so dia akan berlaku serentak and after we get the results, we will compare. Betul ke 3 kali? Tengok report, kita compare kan? Betul ke 3 kali? Okay, kita tengok report and then kita pun interpret, betul. Sebab student ni ada disruptive behavior sebanyak 3 kali, okay, due to, so kita akan interpret the data that we have. Kalau you perasan, the rest of the framework ataupun design, kita ada triangulations at the end of it. Okay, because we meant to actually triangulate and support the data to enhance the credibility. But this one, kita memang nak compare. And then kita merge the results and become our main finding. Kita interpret dia sebagai main finding. So there is no kind of macam nak triangulate with other data and whatnot. Tidak ada. Alright? Okay. So, mixed method designs untuk convergent designs ni, in which quanti and quali data are collected simultaneously, concurrently, but they will be analysed separately. Dia tak macam embedded. Embedded tu kita analyse, mungkin dia akan ada integration dekat situ bila kita analyse the data tu kan. Tapi kalau conversion ni memang dia totally different. Between quanti and quali, kita analyse differently. And then kita akan compare and merge the results at the end of the day for the interpretation. Boleh? Yeah. Okay, so inside of that, maksudnya kalau kita ada a different types of data analysis for both of quanti and quali, so in this convergent design, you also can have two different research question. Two different research question. Okay, for example, the research question for quanti, what is the relationship between students' self-reported study habits and their performance in college setting? So this one, you want to find out the relationship. And then the second one is how students implement self-reported study to enhance their performance in college setting. You memang nak tengok relationship, tapi in the same time, you nak tengok pula how the students implement the self-reported study. So that later you can compare, betul ke relationship ni dengan apa yang you dapat daripada qualitative study. So compare and you merge the results and you will report it as your main findings at the end of the day. Okay, settle convergent design. Any question? Ada soalan? Apa research onion ni untuk keluar banyak-banyak kali ni? Nampak sangat kuatnya membawang. Okay, so anyone? Tak ada Tak ada. Okay, so now, as you can see, after I explain that one, kita dah cover philosophy, kita dah cover approach, methodological choice, kan? And then the next one will be the strategy. Strategi ni kalau you boleh tengok betul-betul line dia ni, strategi yang you akan guna in your mixed method. You nak guna eksperimen dulu, lepas tu you nak guna quali, kan, narrative inquiry, ataupun you nak guna case study, and then lepas tu you nak pakai survey. So these are the strategies that you want to use in your study. After you explain about your choice of methodological, then you relatekan what will be the strategy that you were using. Okay, sebab bila you dah explain methodological choice, you juga kena explain your mixed design, apa tu? Mixed method design. Yang ada convergent ke, sequential ke, kan? You kena explain that one. So bila you explain the strategies, then bila you explain about the design of the mixed method, barulah you boleh make sense of the strategy. Contoh, to go back to here. Kan? Bila you explain the mixed design, you dah explain dah, you pakai mixed method design. Simple, okay? And then you pun explain about your design of the mixed method. Let's say you choose convergent design. So when you actually explain about convergent design, then baru you clarify your strategy that you will be used in each stage of convergent design. Aduh. Sorry, lupa pula nak tekan. Okay, so ni nak pakai strategi apa? Katalah survey. Ni strategi kan ni? Okay, and then for qualitative, you nak pakai apa? Katalah interview. So this is your strategy. So that's why when you explain your research design, you need to follow the layer so that it will make sense. Bila kita tahu you punya method, then baru kita boleh make sense. Oh, that's why they choose this particular strategy because they are using convergent design, you know. Sebab pertama, quantitative dan quali ni dia concurrently, simultaneously. Ataupun kalau you pakai exploratory, so you can explain the first strategy that you will use will be interview dulu. Dah lain lah daripada convergent tadi. So this one is strategy interview. Okay, and then for quantitative part, you were using survey. So this will be your strategy according to your design. Mixed method design. Boleh. That's why I suka pakai research onion ni. Because kalau you explain in paragraph nanti dia nampak cantik je. Layer by layer by layer. So your write up tu akan jadi systematically in order. It's not actually jump here and there. Okay. Alright. So after strategies, we have time horizon. Aduh. Sorry lah guys. Lalu lupa nak tekan pointer ni. Okay. Next one will be time horizon. So in research, you only have 2 time horizon. The first one is cross-sectional. The second one will be longitudinal. Okay. Now, for the last one, techniques and procedures will not be discussed today. Sebab techniques and procedures ni selalunya dalam kita punya format of the write-up pun dia dikeluarkan sebagai satu subsection yang lain. Then you will have a subtopic specifically for techniques and also procedures, which is data collection and data analysis. So for research design, we stop at time horizon only. Okay, now, what will be the differences? Oh, sorry, this one I dah explain tadi kan? Okay, what will be the differences between... Kejap. Kita pergi kat sini dulu, dan kita pergi kat sini. Sekejap Okay, sorry. Okay, kejap. Kita pergi kat time horizon dulu because I nak explain habiskan the saunders ni, layers ni. Okay, so the differences between cross-sectional and also longitudinal. Cross-sectional ni usually the snapshot at one point of time. Macam you all lah, macam undergraduate study, master study kan. You just collect the data at one point only. You tak actually collect the data over the multiple times. Setiap setahun, setiap 2 tahun. No. Okay. So for us, cross-sectional. Okay. So it's useful for prevalence and correlation studies. Okay. Quicker sebab kita tak perlu nak tunggu timeline 2 tahun in a cycle and whatnot. And usually we cannot infer lah casualty over the period of time. Dia tak boleh tengok lah macam trend ke kan. After 5 years, after 10 years, we can't actually have that in our relationship, in our analysis. Okay, because we don't actually collect the data throughout the time. Okay, however, for longitudinal, okay, usually data collected over multiple time points. So you have every 2 years, every 5 years, every 10 years. Okay, so this one is longitudinal. So it's useful for you to see the trend, the changes, kan? And then, of course, it's more time consuming lah. Kan? Bila dah research tu makan masa panjang, of course lagi banyak duit yang akan keluar. But the benefit is you can track the developments and the long-term effects of your study. So this one is not advisable lah untuk kita yang belajar ni. Usually we will go for cross-sectional. Okay, settle kan? Now let's go back to this slide. Sekejap ya, I nak pergi kat sini. Okay. So now, how you want to determine the strategies? Kita go back, sorry. I patah balik kepada strategies ya. As I mentioned previously, your strategies is driven by your purpose of study. strategi yang you nak guna tu, survey ke, eksperimen ke, dia akan depends on purpose of your study. Sebenarnya apa yang you nak in your study. Okay, and it's also driven by your research questions. That's why research questions development is crucial. Sebab from the research questions itulah you can determine what strategy that is suitable for you to use. Driven by your methodological choices. Kita dah choose dah method kita. Method kita adalah mixed method simple. Cuma it depends on you pula untuk choose the mixed method design. Nak guna convergent ke, nak guna sequential explanatory ke, exploratory ke, embedded ke, you need to decide on that. Okay, so when you decide all these 4 things, then you can use a suitable strategy for your research. Contoh, for example, measure the effectiveness of a new teaching method through a pre and post test. And then conduct interview with students to understand their experiences and perceptions of the teaching method. Okay. Sekarang, kalau tengok, apakah research design yang sesuai? In terms of the methodological choices, kita dah mix method Kita dah mix method. Ini purpose kita. So kita dah pilih dah mix method. Okay, so this one is the purpose. So based on the purpose, kita nak buat mix method simple. But what will be the suitable mixed method design in this particular area for the purpose of this study? Anyone? Mula-mula dia nak tengok pre and post. Lepas tu dia nak conduct interview. So what will be the types of mixed method design kat sini yang suitable? Boleh unmute and then answers, or you can write down in the chat box.
Explanatory sequential design.
Explanatory sequential design. Kenapa Aina? Why?
Because you said that they first wanted to do like pre and post test, so that's like quantitative, and then baru buat interview.
Okay, alright. So, yang paling sesuai adalah explanatory sebab pre and post ni adalah quantitative dulu, betul tak? So, we go for quanti dulu and then interview will be quali. Okay? So, methodological choice, mixed method, simple. Design, explanatory, sequential design. Okay, so this one will be the design. Okay, so bila you dah tahu dah all this thing, then you determine the strategy. So perhaps for quantitative, aduh, tak suka betul lah kena tekan benda ni kan. Okay, for quantitative, kita guna eksperimen. For qualitative, kita guna interview. So this is how you determine your strategy. Boleh? Boleh ke yang lain? Kalau boleh angkat tangan. Cik, angkat tangan. Angkat apa? Angkat thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Angkat. Cik angkat tangan je. Mana nak nampak angkat tangan? Okay, clear Alright, so I leave you with another 2 example. Mungkin later you boleh buat lah sebab I tengok masa pun dah macam mencemburui kita. But I really need to go further with this one thing supaya you tahu how to write down all those things. Kan, kita duk tengok research onion. Okay, layer by layer. But how you want to write down in your write-up nanti. Okay, so I need to share with you this thing. Okay, cuba tengok Nampak sorry. Tak nampak. I'm not sharing my word lagi. Sekejap ya. Sekejap. Sorry. I share the screen terus. Share my screen. Share. Okay. Alright. Nampak my word?
Still black screen for me. Not sure whether it's my. Okay, nampak dah.
Nampak dah. Okay, so this is how you actually implement ataupun adaptkan the research onions tadi in your write-up. Okay, my approach kat sini adalah layer by layer. So you need to remember the layer of the research onions tadi. Okay, yang ni research onions layer ni. Tara, this one kena ingat 1 layer apa, 2 layer apa. Okay, now let's go back to our write-up. Now, first of all, cuba baca sekejap. Okay, this one, of course, when you start your subtopic, you need to have one simple paragraph for your general introduction. Okay, so this one introduce dulu the subtopic. You nak kena cerita apa kat dalam ni, you nak cakap apa kan. So you need to have your general introduction, a very brief one paragraph. Okay, so as you can see here, I write it down. Ini just sample lah. Nanti later you boleh lah godek-godek, modify and whatnot. Okay, so these sections will elaborate overall the research design related to data collection and mention what are the model yang you akan refer to. Sebab Saunders ni tak ada siapa dah lah yang boleh apa? Yang boleh deny lah kan, because he is actually the pertinent author for research design. Okay, so you are using the research onion by Saunders, right? So this ensures the study reliability, validity, and to determine the research question and whatnot. Okay, so this one will be your general introduction. Janganlah start tu terus, okay, this study employ, kan? Bagi general introduction dulu. Okay, the second one, as you can see, as I mentioned previously, you need to clarify your philosophy. Okay, but for undergraduate, it's good to have. Kalau tak ada pun tak apa. No worries, yeah. Because the philosophy kind of thing is quite complicated for me to explain. And then I think at your level, you don't have to do this pun. Kan? Sebab philosophy ni selalunya untuk postgraduate kita emphasizekan lah. Okay, so for example, in this particular case, I choose pragmatism. Okay, because I mentioned previously, pragmatism is more flexible. Okay, for us to choose the method, the techniques, and the procedures. So I use pragmatism. Okay, so this one based on the Saunders layer adalah the first layer, which is philosophy. Okay, and then after kita cakap pasal philosophy, the second layer adalah apa tadi dalam Saunders? Anyone? Tengok balik your slide.
Approach, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright, cool. Helmi, 1 star for you. Approach. Okay, so now approach kita ada 3 jenis tadi kan? Inductive, abductive, deductive, right? Okay. So let us delve into the approach. Okay, adopting a pragmatic stance. This one because I refer to the philosophy lah. This study developed research question based on constructivist theory, necessitating an inductive approach. Nope, it's not inductive. It's deductive. Sorry, typo. Okay, so you need to clarify your approach. You pakai approach apa? Deductive ke inductive? So kita start with theory, maksudnya kita adalah deductive approach. Alright? Okay, and then after approach, what will be the third layer? Anyone?
Method.
Methodological choice. Alright, cool. Methodological choice. So approach dah settle. Next, kita clarify. The research employ a mixed method simple design with an explanatory sequential design ataupun strategy. So this one kita clarify kita punya methodological choice, ya. This involve using quantitative methods in the first phase and qualitative methods in the second phase. Utilize both types of data collection. So this one will be the next layer, which is methodological choices. Nampak explain layer by layer. Okay, after methodological choices, what will be the next layer?
Strategy.
Strategy. Okay, so to establish the methodological choices, given the focus on evaluating the effectiveness, I ambil yang example sebelum ni, a causal research design was chosen with quasi-experimental methods used for field evaluation and semi-structured interview with students to explore their experiences. Okay, so this one will be our strategy. 2 strategi yang kita guna. Satu adalah experimental, yang kedua adalah interview. So this one will be our strategy. Refer to our methodological choice. Okay, lepas strategi, what will be the last one yang kita kena ni?
Time horizon.
Correct, time horizon. Okay, so regarding data collection time frame, 2 options were considered. Kita ada 2 jenis je, cross-sectional and longitudinal. Okay, so for this study, align with our objective and whatnot, kita akan choose cross-sectional research. So this one will be time horizon. So habislah kita punya research design. So inilah yang you kena explain dalam you punya 3.2. Usually 3.2 ni adalah dalam you punya chapter 3. After introduction to the chapter, kita kena explain our research design before we go further with data collection and procedure and whatnot. Okay. So in research design, more or less, this will be the template for you to explain and clarify layer by layer. Are you okay with this? Any question? Setakat ni? Okay, settle. Alright. So settle lah kita punya aktiviti membawang. Kan? Dia kena tengoklah kepada bawang tu tadi. Alright, settle. Kalau ada soalan boleh shoot ya. Okay, so I think itulah research design yang the most important things for you to understand lah. Kan? A few mixed method design and also how you want to actually explain you punya research design according to model of the research design. Okay, so the conclusion. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so just to reconfirm, so I can use that template for my research proposal assignment.
Boleh, no problem. You can use that
Thank you.
template. Okay, no worries. Nanti modify, cantikkan ayat lah. Sebab mungkin ayat I tu tak berapa nak ni kan. Okay, so for undergraduate students also, you can use those template. For master student also, you can use that template. So nanti modify according to your choices based on your layer tadi. Tadi I buat contoh sahaja kan. Okay, nanti tiru basi. Okay, so as conclusion, okay, by embrace the mixed method research, usually kalau you tengok the design tadi lah, we will actually have a deeper insights lah for our data and also for our findings. Tu satu And then kita boleh actually discuss in depth because we have two types of data in our hands and kita boleh triangulate pula the data to give and to support each other kan. Betul ke dia enhance sebab kita punya modul? Betul, because I buat interview to support this one. And these are actually dialogue. Ini verbatim yang kita dapat transcribe, kita dapat from the students. Yes, based on the module tu lah dia dapat enhance dia punya understanding. So these are the things yang kita rasa macam agak special lah about mixed method design ya. Okay, so this approach not only broaden the scope of inquiry but also enrich the quality of evidence. Maksudnya we are not actually just saying pluck it out of sky. Oh, ini bagus, modul kita bagus. No, but we have the evidence, facts and figures, and also the statement from the experiences of the participants. Okay, so as you move forward, consider how mixed methods can be integrated into your own research to leverage this benefit. Ingat kita guna mixed method adalah untuk apa? Memperkukuhkan kita punya research and to present the data in more meaningful way. Maksudnya in a way kita boleh bagi a variety of insights to the reader and also to the participants. Kita bukan pilih mixed method because saja-saja nak nampakkan banyak research question dan sebagainya. No, we need to actually to determine the intention lah kita pilih the mixed method tu tadi. Okay. Okay, so these are the references that you can refer to. So I think that's all from me. But by all means, if you have any questions, then you can ask the question. InsyaAllah. Okay, Puan Zuraimi.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tuti, for such an insightful delivery on mixed method. The same dialogue I've used after we've gone through statistical analysis with SPSS a couple of weeks ago. We have graduated from mixed method design, given the extensive nature of today's content. So thank you so much, Dr. Tuti. In our shoes, particularly with regard to Part 8 students, you don't have the choice of selecting which design do you want because you have already a design. But now we are clearer in relation to what's the name of our design and also the manner in which the discussions on our research design should be presented. Okay, do we have questions? I have one question from Amirul. Doctor, I have a question. My SB recommended me to switch from quanti to mixed method in chapters 1 to 3. What is affected and would need to be changed or amended?
Oh, okay. Okay, Amirul. Oh, so barulah ni kena change to mixed method ya? Okay, but anyway. Bila you change to mixed method, of course, yang akan affected will be your research objective, research question. Okay, because we have a few key points that will actually give us an insight whether it is a quantitative or qualitative study. So you need to go through your research objective and also your research question. Itu satu. And then the types of research question tu pun kena tengok lah sama ada dia memilih what will you choose actually, convergent ke apa ke kan, the designs of mixed method tu tadi, right? And then for chapter 2, okay, chapter 2 ni actually dia more kepada literature review of the study, so there's nothing to do with mixed method research design and whatnot. But however, if your supervisor asks you to do some of literature related to the types of methodological choices, then you need to change it. Maksudnya you kena justify lah why you choose mixed method design instead of other design. But Amirul, usually kita tak buat the pool of methodological choices in our literature review. Kita tak ada buat benda tu. Unless your supervisor asks for that, then you need to change of course in your literature review. Selalunya literature review ni is focusing on our variables, not on our methodological choices or theory pool. Sebab you tak buat grounded theory, you tak buat abductive punya design. So you don't have to explain that in your literature review. Okay, go to chapter 3. Of course, you need to change a lot, okay, because in chapter 3 adalah more or less focus on our methodology. So starting from your research design, okay, you kena explain one by one based on Saunders layer tadi ni. Kalau you nak pakai Saunders layer tadi, you kena explain lah the layer one by one. From the philosophy, kalau tak nak philosophy tak apa, tapi from the second layer until you punya mixed method and also strategy, methodological choices and whatnot tu kan. So that's the thing yang you kena ubah. Okay, and also for your data collection and data analysis. Of course, bila you change kepada mixed method, you punya types of data pun berubah, and the types of data analysis yang you akan guna pun juga akan berubah. So that will be the area that you need to change for Amirul. Okay, I really hope that I answer your question, Amirul.
Yes, Doctor, you definitely answered. And also thanks to the presentation that you gave, I kind of realized that I'm doing convergent design kind of data collection.
All right, cool. Okay, so you can clarify that in your research design later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Amirul.
Right, very interesting. Do we have any other questions? Someone who wants to open up their mic and then pose verbally the question? Ada tak? Kesemua dah topu.
Semua dah ingat nak ikat
Macam.
lembu.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Tuti. The selections of your research design will also influence the manner your data will be presented in chapter 4 and chapter 5, isn't it? I mean, like if you are selecting, for example, exploratory sequential design, which you have qualitative followed by quantitative. So when you do your data analysis in chapter 4, then you need to present qualitative first, correct?
Yes.
So discussion of findings pun, maybe you want to go according to that sequence as well. So
Correct.
so that there's alignment from the earlier chapter up to chapter 4 and chapter 5.
Betul. I agree on that, Puan Zuraimi. Sebab tu mix design yang you pilih tu adalah very important, crucial sebenarnya. Because later dia akan determine the sequence of your write-up tu nanti. Alright, thank you for highlighting that.
All right, thank you. We have another questions, this time from Florence. Doctor, does this mean the questions in my survey must have the same questions? I mean, like maybe must have the same number of questions, is it? For my interview for mixed method. Maybe you would like to clarify the questions, Florence? Maybe my understanding is not correct. Must have the same questions for my interview. Oh, okay. So meaning that the interview and mixed method must address the same questions.
Okay. So maksudnya in the survey, the same question, and the interview, same question. Macam tu maksud Florence.
Addressing the same construct, yes.
Oh, okay.
First
Alright,
answer,
cool.
yes. Okay.
Okay, so now, interesting question. Now, bila you do a survey, of course, you need to collect the data in terms of a certain construct based on your theory and whatnot, okay? But for your interview, because it is a qualitative data yang kita akan gather ni, it actually have the same paradigm, tetapi in depth, because dia akan more kepada why and how. So, I envision you punya survey question dengan you punya interview questions akan ada construct yang sama, approximately the same, tapi survey you adalah more kepada what, when, kan? Tapi you punya interview adalah more kepada how, why. So you kena refer you punya construct kepada theoretical framework you, what are the elements yang you nak address dalam you punya analysis nanti to answer the research question. Tapi you kena go in depth to why and how. Macam tu, Florence. Clear ke I jawab? Boleh ke, Florence? Did you get it? Lama loading. Boleh so dia same lah, same paradigm, same construct. Cuma dia akan a difference in depth tu tadi, in depth and the breadth tadi. Okay? Alright.
Florence
Thank you.
cakap clear, Doctor. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Florence, for that question.
Okay, do we have other questions? Ada lagi tak? While I'm acting like a filler while waiting for people to post questions. Okay, another one. Doctor, in my survey, I included a question from Helmi Zaire. Doctor, in my survey, I included some open-ended questions. So does it categorize as convergent design?
Okay, interesting. Maksudnya you ada survey, you ada item, and then you ada open-ended kan? So maksudnya akan collect data simultaneously. So this one is convergent design lah. Tapi you kena tengok juga at the end of the day whether you want to triangulate or not. Kan? Kalau convergent design, dia tak payah triangulate. Dia macam compare and contrast. So you need to also look into what types of questions that you ask for your open-ended question. Kalau kata you nak triangulate the data, then perhaps you can go with embedded design. Kalau you tak nak triangulate the data, you nak compare and merge as a major finding, so you go for convergent design. Boleh, Helmi?
Alright, clear, Doctor. Thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Alright. Any more questions? I dah lupa soalan apa nak tanya. Tadi ada apa sebab. Tapi tak apa, if anyone has any question, feel free. I just want to say that the studies that you guys are doing for students, even though this is just undergraduate, they are rich because this is like studies that you yourself have developed from chapter 1 to chapter 5. So upon completion, you might want to consider publishing your paper. Even though this is undergraduate, there's nothing wrong with it. Get your paper published. It might help your application for masters. Tiba buat promo. So you might want to talk to your supervisor to help you doing the process of coming up with the manuscript. As well as maybe you want to present your research findings at the conference. So do consider that. This, submitting a research report is not the end of your research endeavors. There's plenty more that you can do after that. That is more scholarly in nature lah. So boleh je datang jumpa I ke Dr. Tuti ke nak bincang kalau kan Dr. Tuti kan. In addition to your supervisor. As I mentioned, your supervisor is your mak bapa, I mak tiri. Tapi boleh je.
I mak tiri baik, Puan Suraimi mak tiri tak baik sikit.
Walaupun membawang tu sentiasa berlaku. Okay. Do we have any other questions? I do understand everybody is in a festive mood and we have reached 4 o'clock now. If there's no questions, I would like to close this particular webinar. And we will be uploading this video on our YouTube channel. I will be providing the link later. I'm supposed to read now, sharing the link to e-cert and also feedback form. Just give me 1 second. Dr. Tuti, ada kata-kata terakhir sementara nak cekau link ni?
Kata-kata terakhir ya? Okay, so from me, I think kata-kata terakhir adalah I second lah apa yang Puan Zuraimi mentioned earlier. So please considering to publish you punya data because data tu sayang tau kalau data tu kita tak buat apa-apa. So perhaps later you can discuss with supervisor to come out with a presentation in conference, dekat conference and also publish the manuscript tu satu. Okay, and then I also want to remind you bila you write down you punya research design, okay, carefully, think carefully about the design and also please make sure it's aligned with your research objective, research question and also the design of mixed method that you choose. Okay, and how you want to present the data later. Nak analyze data semua tu kena align from the left side to the right side. So usually I advise my student to put in the table, starting from the layer tu, put in a table until data collection and data analysis. So later you can go through those tables so that you can see which is it aligned or not towards each other. Macam tu. Okay, so I think that's all from me, Puan Zuraimi untuk kata-kata terakhir.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Tuti. So thank you, thanks a lot for the wisdom, insights and knowledge shared. With the template to writing research design, I'm sure the template is highly valued. Tukar-tukarlah sikit, takkan semua orang nak tulis benda yang sama kan, Dr. Tuti kan?
Betul, nanti Kak Ai pula yang kena nanti. Siapa yang ajak tulis? modify
So
sikit.
yeah, betul. So research onion saunders tu is pretty much very much useful. So you might want to refer to that as well. So thank you so much everyone. Selamat Hari Raya Aidiladha dan selamat pulang ke kampung halaman if you are still in the journey to going back to your kampung and coming back to your UiTM after this. All the best in your research writing, particularly report writing. So itu sahaja. Kalau ada soalan selepas ini, I'm sure at the end of ada email address ke ataupun di hujung slide itu Dr. Tuti?
Ada. I put my email address there.
Okay, yeah. Bolehlah tanya Dr. Tuti if you have any questions later, need clarifications and whatnot. Okay?
Boleh.
So thank you so much everyone. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Take care and I'll see you when I see you. Take care because I care. Bye.
Okay, bye everyone. Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya. Thank you, Mr. Zakaria.
Thank you so much, Sensei.
Alright, thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Doctor. Thank you,
Thank you,
Madam.